that is fostered in that environment is, oh, such a sweet desire. Yes? And are you refreshed? Yes. Good. So, the work is to get in the vortex. And then the work is to stay in the vortex. And if you're not in the vortex, then the work is to get in the vortex. And then the work is to stay in the vortex. And if you're not in the... And if you're not in the vortex, then your work is to get in the vortex. And if you're in the vortex, then the work is to stay in the vortex. And if you're not in the vortex, the work is to get in the vortex. And at no point is the work ever to try to get out of the vortex. And at no point is the work ever to try to stay out of the vortex once you're out of the vortex. In other words, this has been a very interesting day, hasn't it? In other words, sometimes people want to be in but aren't. And then we talk a little while and then they are. And then they don't seem to notice how important it is to be in, and so they don't really try to stay in. You have seen demonstrated here today what the real work is, and it's representative of your real life experience, because it's sort of like that, isn't it? So what are some of the tools that you might use, or what do you think is the predominant tool that you might use to stay in the vortex once you're in? Appreciation really is the most powerful tool once you're in the vortex to maintain it. What do you think would be the most powerful way or tool to get in the vortex when you're not in the vortex? Wait. Rampage of appreciation? Certainly not, because if you're not in the vortex and you get really focused, you'll just cement yourself outside. Later gator is good. What does later gator represent? So you're not in the vortex. You know you're not in the vortex, but you want to be in the vortex, but you're not in the vortex, but you want to be in the vortex, but you're not in the vortex, but you want to be in the vortex. What is the mindset? What are you reaching for? Looking for positive aspects is too direct. It's too specific, because it's like reading affirmations from outside the vortex. If you're not in the vortex and you want to be in the vortex, what's the tool you're reaching for? We'll give you a hint. It's diffusion of resistance. So what kinds of things? Say again. Meditate. Meditation is the surest way to release resistance and to get into the vortex. So let's talk about this for a little bit. What are some ways that you can diffuse resistance? Now, before you try too hard to think about it, we want to say to you that diffusing anything is a deconstructing of the thought. So the more specific you are, the more in the wrong direction you're going if you're out of the vortex, the more general you get. So things like, I don't have to think about this now, I can do this later, I can focus on my breathing, I could count, I could listen for something in the air conditioning, I could gaze into the vastness of the sky or the stars. In other words, anything. I could do something as outrageous as find rhythm like in a drum. I could listen to music, but the selection of music is a little tricky there, because if you're depressed, you'll listen to Love Gone Bad songs. We just want you to be mindful of where you are. In other words, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would have a keen awareness of where we are in relationship to the vortex. And everything that we would do, everything that we would decide to focus upon, every activity would be, how will this enhance either my longevity in the vortex? Will it cause it to last longer? Or will it move me in the direction of it? So as we're moving forward, just keep those things in mind. We're eager to talk with you about whatever you want to talk about. But this is the direction of the seminar. It's the direction of what would be our physical life if we were standing in your physical shoes. In other words, we would be aware of the vortex and our relationship to it, period. You know why? Because everything else is taken care of. Step one's already done. You've already filled the vortex full of wonderful things. Source energy has already gathered the cooperative components. There's only one thing for you to do. There's only one thing for you to do. There's only one thing for you to do. Get in the vortex and stay in the vortex. Get in the vortex and stay in the vortex. That's one thing. Get in the vortex and stay in the vortex. Get in the vortex and stay in the vortex. That's it. It's simpler than you've been making it out to be. Do you know that 100% of politics is outside the vortex? Well, we've given you a run for your money, but you now understand something that you have not ever understood so clearly before, don't you? The majority of what you talk about is not conducive to the vortex. Doesn't move you in the direction of it and doesn't help you to stay in it. So you've got some thinking to do about the vortex. If only you could maintain your innocence of well-being and your true understanding that the entire universe works in concert to assist you. That the entire universe works in concert. That the entire universe works. You are source energy in these physical bodies, you know that? Your source energy that has projected a part of itself forward into this physical experience. But you did not project all of you into this physical experience, just an idea of you. You are source energy in these physical bodies, you know that? And as you more deliberately care about the way you feel, then you're going to begin to understand that your desires can feel as sweet and intoxicating and compelling as they did the day you were born. And as you more deliberately care about the way you feel, then you're going to begin to understand that your desires can feel as sweet and intoxicating and compelling as they did the day you were born. Only you could maintain your innocence of well-being. You are source energy. You are source energy that has projected a part of itself forward into this physical experience. But you did not project all of you into this physical experience, just an idea of you. In other words, who you really are, the larger part of you, is non-physical energy. And that larger part of you is still and will eternally be starry-eyed. And will eternally be starry-eyed.